Look up, look up, look up, the sky is falling. We have an old-fashioned unboxing to perform. Look up, look up, look up. It's the end. That's your musical cue. That's your cue. That's your clue. And we're gonna do an unboxing. My last toy was one of these. It's a piece of mecha from a Japanese anime of the early 1980s. And welcome to my unboxing. It's Eric O'Sullivan, Reverend Sully, ordained on the internet. I make geeky, nerdy content, spiritual content, cooking content. We do daily comic book talks, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. Tune in. Like and subscribe. Seriously, turn on those notifications. Don't miss an episode. We talk every day. We have the best live chat. Oh, yeah. So, oh no. It's not my toy. It's your mom's giant dildo. Ha ha ha, that's a joke. Yeah, my sweet man. All right. It's my last toy. I got it when I was about Christmas when I turned 13, and my dad got it for me, and he kind of looked at me funny too because I'm 13. I shouldn't be playing with toys. I shouldn't be asking for toys, but I mean, I was a youthful kid. You know what I mean? All my friends were a year younger than me because I was born in November. Therefore, I didn't make the cut for school or for like little league teams. So I was basically almost a year older, and sometimes a year and a little bit more older than everyone else, such as my best friend from childhood, Brian Massey. I'm like almost a year and a half older than. And just because I was born in November and he was born in April. But since he was born in April, he's closer to that, so he's one grade behind me. But like we were only like the same age for like 6 months or so. Something like that. But it was like I never like played with it. Like I never brought it to play with Brian because we hadn't stopped. We hadn't. Maybe I wanted it more as a model, and maybe I wanted it more as something such as what you see behind you, and which I've been inspired by. Like when I first started tuning into YouTube, I mean, who doesn't fall in love with Gary Piekler's background? Seriously, I mean, you're just if you tune in from regularly, you're looking at stuff in the background, and you're like, oh, it's the superpowers. Green Lantern, you squeeze his leg and he does the thing with the arms. And, he's got it's the Marvel Secret Wars original Black Spider-Man. I had that. Yeah. But also Robert Meyer Burnett and Az from Heel vs. Babyface and all the countless other geeks, neckbeards, and nerds and geeks you see on these YouTube stations with their stuff behind them. And it's because of them that I've been inspired to buy loot for my background here. I'm running out of room, so I don't know where to put stuff. So I'm reluctant to buy more and more, tchotchkes. And thanks, but I bought this because it was a nice price. It's a little smaller than I thought it was going to be, but apparently it's very hyper detailed. So the anime is called Robotech. It premiered in 1985, and I was 12 years old. And so I'm like 12 going on 13. So for Christmas 1985, I just turned 13 years old. I just fell in love with this new anime. Well, it's not. It's new to us because it played on channel 68 Monday through Friday at 2:30 p.m. And I was there on the TV every day and watched it, and I taped it off the TV Grandpa had a VHS cassette recorder, and I taped them all. I had editing down the commercials down to a science. I was like click click click. Yeah, I mean, I was so good. You can just totally tell when the commercial starts and stops. Yeah, I did. Didn't you? So yeah, that's my story about my last toy that I bought. I asked for and got. This is literally the last. Just like, well, it was okay. It was called Robotech, which was an amazing American innovation. It took three non-related anime and made them into one show. So each series of about 26 episodes was a season, and they claimed with the voiceover that it was united through three generations of Earth's defenders fighting against a common foe. So it was and so that's hence why the difference in the mecha. But what you why and you don't see anyone from the past show up in future episodes, and then so Robotech was a huge thing, and I have only two other Robotech things we've probably seen before. I got these two. This is great because this is like a smaller version of the bigger toy, and the bigger toy's packaging as well. This is so Macross was season 1, the Southern Cross was season 2, and Mospeada was season 3. Yeah, I wanted to make a Max and Miria shelf. I love this anime. So my last toy, yeah, it was a giant size. So it was like doll, like 1/6 size. So it's fully articulated, transformable. It was Scott Bernard or Stick Bernard, as it said in Mospeada, but season 3 Robotech. It was a cyclone. What's the cyclone? A cyclone is a human rider with wearing armor or a ride suit that has it's basically an exoframe as well, but it's armor. It protects the rider from gunfire and whatnot. But what happens is your motorcycle, that's the variable fighter. It transforms into an armored mech suit, a personal sized. So you have mobility and armament of a full sized mecha, but at person size. And it was such an innovation. I had never seen anything like it before in my life. I watched Star Blazers, Yamato. I watched Battle of the Planets. They only had vehicles. They didn't transform. Voltron was coming out about that time. It didn't. It wasn't before Robotech. But you didn't. So there were like the Transformers and the GoBots. So there've been plenty of, and then there was Mazinger Z, who had a pilot, and that there was the Gundams, but there was never a really like a person-sized mecha suit, and this is, so it's called the Cyclone, and I always wanted one like this because it was cooler than Scott Bernard's. It's Lance Belmont, Yellow Belmont from Mospeada, or you might know Yellow Dancer, or Lancer. From season 3 of Mospeada, I bring you the Sabre Cyclone. It has the sabers instead of the rocket launchers, which I always thought was so much cooler as like a melee fighter. And this is really cool. So yeah, it's modern, hyper realized. Oh, he's got a little blaster on him too. He looks like Vegeta, sure. I mean, but the whole thing was, if you're paying attention behind my shoulder, it was 1984 when this was made. 1983 or 1984 when this was made, at the height of new wave, of the fashion, the androgyny of new wave. There was a lot of this, what we're seeing now, like what we did in the 80s, But Yellow Belmont, I'm going to read this from the wiki, is Yellow Belmont is a 22-year-old soldier who later joined forces with Scott Bernard and his team. He was hiding in public as a female pop singer. And so it's got the hit song, and that's in the tradition of Lin Min Mei of Macross. I mean, season 2 of Mospeada didn't have an original song, like a hit single like this, but this is the one song that they always play. And so, like, the team goes from town to town under like the guise of following Yellow Dancer or Yellow Belmont, and that is the feminine role of the undercover resistance fighter, going from town to town and spreading the news and getting the forces ready to finally stand up against Earth's invaders, the Invid. And so according to the side materials and interviews for the show, Yellow reluctantly enlisted in the ill-fated Earth recapture mission. He would crash land in South America, where he was nursed and protected by Carla, and in the little town that was known to have worked with the Invids, and hunt for the Mars base soldiers that crashed. One day, Carla and Yellow planned to leave the place together until Yellow decided to go on a separate way to fulfill his duty to liberate Earth, then accompanying his girl. Due to his feminine appearance, he was able to easily impersonate himself as a female singer while spying on Invid occupation. Thanks to his time as a singer, he was able to gain reputation to either distract the guards or persuade the locals into aiding the group. Years later, he would meet Stick and Ray at the bar, who was disappointed. That was Rand in season 3 of Robotech. And Rand was so disappointed when he found out that his favorite singer that he had a huge crush on was actually a guy. And also Yellow Belmont, or Lancer, falls in love with the enemy, Sarah, the humanoid Invid. The Invid are more insectoid, or like a mollusk inside of outside of its shell, if you can imagine that. Or and so they made to survive on Earth, they made humanoids, like human hybrids, and Sarah was the female version, and they were fighting, and like Max and Miria fell in love over battle, and this has got a couple of different heads to it. It transforms, literally from bike and rider into the ride armor, like that. Yeah, let's open her up. But yeah, so this was like in New Wave. This was gender bending. This was, we would call this progressive now. Or was it just the story point? We always had stuff like this. We really did. It's tiny. But it really is hyper detailed. I didn't expect it to be this small. Yeah, especially for its price. But I believe it cost $65 retail. I got it through the Crunchyroll store, and I was alerted to this from the Robotech news on. So this is actually going to take a little bit to assemble. So I was going to throw them together and transform them, but wow, that's just I'm going to have to read the instructions first. I was going to be brave and childlike and be like, hey, you, I know how this thing goes. And this is where I think this is like where he just like throws his hair up and like, we've won, and he doesn't need his identity anymore. But it's like, he's very David Bowie-like, which was funny because Bowie by this time was in Let's Dance mode, That's a display mode. So yeah, here's the instructions. We're going to read the instructions. We're going to put her together. And she's small enough he's small enough that we can put it anywhere conspicuous. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to set up the stand too. And you're going to find that Yellow Dancer is joining us here at the table. Ain't that cool? Yeah, the one in the middle there, that was the one I had. My last toy as a kid. And yeah. You're on your own. And then the other single was You're on Your Own, so lonely soldier boy. You're on your own. No, you need a. If you're gonna sing, you need to sing and do it the right way. Sing into your Sharpie. You're on your own, lonely soldier boy. No, yeah, that was Lancer's second song. I know Min-May had like 2 songs. We always joked that there was like "We Will Win." But what was it like? She actually had like maybe 1 or 2 more songs. How many songs did Lin Min-May have? But yeah, those are the Yellow Dancer. It was a great melodramatic plot point. Always like trying to keep his cover and not get his cover blown, and also all along, he's the pilot of the Blue Alpha fighter as well, which is the variable plane. He's the pilot of the Blue, mini fighter. Oh, this thing is so tiny. The thing is like, okay, there's my hand, and that thing is tiny. I thought it was gonna be like at least like kind of like this big or so. You know what I mean? Like, oh. Well, that's cool. I guess. I mean, not trying to sound disappointed. Oh well, it looks great in the box. Maybe we'll just keep it like that then. Well, I'm putting it back there for now. Thank you so much. It's been an old-fashioned unboxing. Story about some anime. I love anime, and I love getting like these little mementos of it all. This representation, like these are pieces of art in a way. They're sculpture, and they're evocative. They just really, really dig it. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Hey, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and be part of it. We make daily content here. We talk about comic books daily, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Did I say daily? Yes, produced by my stuffed animals and recorded live before the studio audience of stuffed animals from our Boston studios. 3 p.m. daily. You can find that the live chat at the premiere is always hopping, and leave some comments and be part of this comic book shop style conversation. We talk about spirituality, purpose, and gratitude. We talk about cooking. I'm a professional chef. I leave cooking hints for hungry people. And thank you so very much. It's been my unboxing of the very tiny. Oh, but it's cute, and it's very detailed. I'm sure I'll be happy with it, and thank you very much to Yellow Belmont. This gender bending, superhero, super spy, but remember Gem and the holograms, and that was going on about the same time too. And New Wave, I'm going to say this was like just so of its day. The pop music really pulls it together. And I'm you get $75 altogether with shipping and handling. It's so tiny. Oh, I thought, well, caveat emptor, huh? E qui bono. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again later on in those other videos. And so join us and subscribe. Cheers.